Hi everyone, I am Rishabh back online. On behalf of Excel Next Training Solutions, in this video I will be talking about some of the commonly used formulas and the pitfalls that you may come across while working with these formulas, and of course not to forget the shortcuts. Okay, now the commonly used formula includes sum formula, which is used almost in every workbook. So let's take an example to illustrate the formula. Now if I have January till December total sales for the next 3 years, 2008, 9 and 10, quite often we use the sum formula. Now in 2003 you had to write the entire formula equal to sum bracket open, but there's something new in 2007. Let me optimize the window, more clear. Okay, now in 2007 if I press equal to and just the first 2 or 3 letters of any formula, you will notice a drop down comes in. Now from the drop down I choose the down arrow key to go to sum formula, and thereafter let me press the tab key. Tab key auto completes the entire formula, so saves a lot of time and frustration. Okay, now what you notice is the formula hints coming up. Whatever formula we are going to discuss in this session or in the subsequent session, I'll be heavily focusing on the logics of the internal parameters so that we can recall it even after months of non-usage. So as of now it gives me the options number 1, comma number 2, maybe comma number 3 and so on. As of now the data looks like it is a continuous data set, so I can choose January to December, something most of us would be doing, and closing the brackets, pressing enter thereafter. Now this sum formula could have been done using a shortcut key as well. Let me demonstrate that in the second yellow cell. When I place my cursor on the second yellow cell, let me press Alt equal to, the shortcut key Alt and equal to sign. It quickly generates the AUTOSUM. To finalize the selection, let me press enter, and that's the total. In both these cells the formula remains the same. Approach 1 where I hard coded the sum formula, approach 2 where I used Alt and equal to. The Alt and equal to, this is the shortcut key that I have been using. Okay, now looks good, but let's say if you're working with the data which may have certain blanks in them, not zeros, I mean blanks, completely blanks. Now if I were to use the same shortcut key Alt equal to in the third yellow cell, let's see what happens. So as you notice, till the time the data is continuous, the data selection is perfect, but the moment it encounters a blank cell, it stops there. Now of course I would not want to make that happen, so how do I get over this? Of course, one way is to use a shortcut key to choose the different data sets, which I'll be discussing later. But better than this, I will talk about one trick. A trick which will enable you to fill in all these blank cells. Now this data could also stretch up to 10,000 rows. So how do I fill all these blank cells with 0? Let's see. Now let me choose the data set. After choosing, let me press a shortcut key called Ctrl G. What Ctrl G does is it activates go to box. The go to, let me go to special cells. What is the speciality of those cells? The cells must be blanks. So I'm going to special cells which are blanks. Okay. Now you'll notice that both these cells have been chosen, and in fact if there were more blank cells, all those cells would have also been chosen. Now I am not choosing any cell, because if I do select any cell, the selection will go away. So let me repeat the entire procedure once again. Ctrl G, special, blanks. Okay, now without selecting any other cell, I'm directly pressing 0. Directly the 0 would pop in the first blank cell. Now to make it appear in all the selected blank cells, I would need to press a combination key, Control Enter. As you notice, Control Enter gives me 0 in all these cells that were chosen. So which shortcut key I used? I used Control G first and thereafter Control Enter. This is the combination. Of course, I'll be talking about the other aspects of Control G in subsequent videos, but this was just for starters. Give it a try. So after this, let me use Alt equal to continuous data selected, and that's enter for me. So sum calculated using 3 different approaches. Apart from this, you can also use the tab of formula. In case, let me delete this third cell's value, and I am choosing the cell which is already chosen, and I can use this auto sum feature. Sum, enter. So shortcut, hard coding formula or the button, whichever you feel comfortable with. Alright, now let me scroll down because the question is about to change. In the meantime, let me also optimize the window by double clicking on the tab key. Okay, now in this case I want the total sales for April to March, April 2009 till March. Let me just point them. I would want this as well as this, the one marked in gray. So in many countries including India, this is referred as fiscal year, April to March, and I'm very keen on getting the sum of these numbers. Now of course, when I try and press Alt equal to, this will not give me the correct selection. It doesn't know what is April to March. So in this case, let me write the formula sum. Let me press the tab key to complete it. Now let me choose April to December. Now if you notice very closely, the hints tell me that I must put a comma after this selection. If I don't, and I go on to select the next block of data, the old selection goes off. So first things first, after choosing the first block of the data, let me press a comma, and after which let me choose the next block of the data. Closing the brackets thereafter and pressing enter. So that's the total sales for you, April to March. Now similar to sum formula, we have max, min and average formula. As the name suggests, maximum sales among the 12 months, minimum sale among the 12 months, and average sale of the 12 months. So let me apply the max formula. Max of what? Max of the data lying between April to December and Jan to March. You notice the formula hints were exactly the same as the sum formula. Let me press enter after writing the formula. So that's the maximum. What I can see is this one. That's the maximum. Similarly, let me apply min. So April to December, comma, January to March. In this way, you can always select the scattered data and put that into a single formula. So max min. Now this is not the application. This is just the basic theory, because application would be discussed in the subsequent sheets. So before I move to the next sheet, let me put in the formula average. I have used the tab key to auto-complete the full formula average. Let me choose April to December, comma, Jan to March, close the brackets, enter. So that's the average. In fact, the solution is also given there in the sheet that you will be downloading. So these were the 4 quick formulas: sum, max, min, average. Let us now see the applications of some of these. Let me go to sheet 2. Alright. Let me begin with case 1. Now what we just did a minute back, a formula called max, it is used very often in financial modeling and budgeting. Let's say I am forecasting 3 years income or maybe 5 years income of some company, and what I see is income is 5 lakhs, tax is 20%, and most of us would end up writing this formula equal to 5 lakhs, the cell containing 5 lakhs multiplied with 20%. Something like this. Cell containing 5 lakhs multiplied with 20%. Now what happens if in my forecast for any 1 or more year the income turns negative? Now I may not want this negative income tax. I'm not going to get any cash flow from that. What I want is a financial control that enables me to put a control in such a manner that whenever the incomes turn negative, the negative income tax shouldn't appear. The answer should be 0 in that case. Now how do I do that? Let's see. To illustrate this point, let me take two very simple numbers, let's say -2 and 0. At this moment, if I write max between these two numbers, you guessed it correctly, the answer would be 0. The moment this becomes +1, 1 is the maximum among these two numbers, I'll be using the similar logic in my formula to calculate income tax. So I say equal to max. I have two numbers to compare. Number 1, 0, comma. Number 2, the calculation itself, the income multiplied with tax rate. So if you notice very closely, number 1 is 0, number 2 is the calculation. Again, the sequence doesn't matter, 0 could have been number 2 as well. Right now if I press enter, I will get 0 or dash. Now this indicates that amongst the 0 and the calculated income tax, 0 is the maximum. Clearly so. Negative versus 0, 0 wins. Now let me make this a positive 5 lakhs. Let me backspace this minus and press enter thereafter. So 20% of 5 lakhs, 1 lakh versus 0. The battle between 1 lakh and 0, and 1 lakh wins. There you go. So this is how max formula is used. In fact, you will also notice the formula also written in the sheet that you will be downloading very, very soon. Okay, another case study. Let's say telecom company, they send bills, the dues at the end of every month, that the telecom dues are so and so, your phone bill is so and so, and they also levy a penalty if you do not pay on time. The terms of this sample telecom companies are such that if you do not pay on time, it will be levying a minimum deposit of 100. But if you are a high value subscriber, then 100 I would not be satisfied with. I would be charging 2% of dues. So 2% of dues with a minimum of 100. Now you may say, how is that sounding complicated? Agreed. Let's say on one hand you may have 2%, on the other hand you have a benchmark set 100. Now for this first guy, 2% of $5,000 is 100, and 100, which is the benchmark 100. So both are same. I'll take 100. For the next guy, 2% of 7,000 is 140, and benchmark set is 100. Of course, the telecom company will be interested in taking this 140. For the next subscriber, 2% of 3,200 comes out to be $64, and the benchmark set is 100. Of course, telecom company this time would be keen to take on this value. So I need a formula which automatically gives me the max of the two benchmarks set. So let me write in a formula max. I can put in 100, that's the benchmark. And the next is a calculation. The calculation which suggests the cell containing the subscribers due multiplied with 2%. That's the benchmark penalty. Enter. Let me drag this down. So 100, 140, 100, and that is the answer I was looking forward to. In fact, even if the subscriber was having as low as 100 rupees as dues, he would have had to pay extra $100 or rupees due. So depending on the currency, you may have the correct answer. So this was quick application of max formula along with the shortcut keys sum, alt equal to, and using tab key to auto complete the formula. In the next video, we'll continue with the same file. See you there.